So the fight to end Wendy Williams' guardianship is on. The judge in the case today told Wendy basically that her career is over. Not only that, this judge has been investigated before. And we have an update in regards to Kevin Hunter, who's seen a setback in his lawsuit against the Wendy Williams Show producers, Dubmar Mercury.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So it's been a while since we've given you an update on the Wendy Williams guardianship situation. But before we get to that, we have to give you an update because it is related in regards to Kelvin Hunter, aka Kevin Hunter, who was a producer for the Wendy Williams Show, but also is the ex-husband of Wendy Williams. He's fighting to get money from Dubmar Mercury, saying that he was wrongfully terminated after Wendy basically says, "I'm done with you. You're having a baby with your mistress of how many years?" He's saying that he was wrongfully terminated. He had a bit of a win, but now he's had a setback. So let me give you an update in regards to this because he's struggling with money and whatnot. This is from our friends over at In Touch. They said Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, suffered a major setback in court as part of his $7 million lawsuit against the former daytime talk show host's producers, they can exclusively report. According to the court documents obtained by In Touch on April 8th, the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit vacated a big win for Kevin, who's 52, in the legal battle. As In Touch previously reported back in 2023, Kevin filed a bombshell lawsuit against the production company behind the Wendy Williams Show, Dubmar Mercury, along with individual producers Ira Bernstein and Mort Marcus. In his complaint, Kevin claimed that he was wrongfully terminated from his role as the executive producer on the talk show after Wendy filed for divorce in 2019. The termination of Kevin was based strictly upon Kevin's marital status and his impending divorce to the show's host, ignoring all the contributions that Kevin made to make the show a success, the lawsuit read. In his filing, Kevin took credit for the Wendy Williams Show's massive success. He claimed that he led the ship behind the scenes and made sure Wendy was taken care of. He claimed to be responsible for the popular show segments like Hot Topics and the Shoe Cam. I mean, the Shoe Cam didn't make the Wendy Williams Show. But okay. Kevin said that he had final say on the guests for the show and even had put input on the marketing decisions. Kevin accused the producers of violating the New York law when they fired him due to his, quote, marital status, and they said they had no right to terminate his contract. Wendy's ex-husband demanded $7 million in damages. This is back in 2023. This is when he was claiming he couldn't afford his health care. He had to sell his $1 million home in Florida. Mind you, he was the manager of Wendy Williams, also an executive producer. He should have his own millions and millions of dollars. But word on the street, Kevin Hunter was tricking out this money for years. Dubmar Mercury and the individual producers denied all allegations of wrongdoing. In their response, they disagreed with Kevin and his legal team's argument and interpretation of New York law. They argued that the law said an employer cannot discriminate against an employee based on their marital status, basically whether they are married or not married. Dubmar Mercury argued that Kevin's claims warranted dismissal due to his, quote, marriage to Wendy in particular is not a protected characteristic by the law. They said that New York law did not cover discrimination based on an employee's marital status in relation to a specific person. In September of 2023, the federal judge presiding over the case ruled Kevin's lawsuit could move forward. The judge said, given Kevin's allegations that he was terminated because of his impending divorce from Wendy Williams, i.e. terminated because he would no longer be married to Wendy, Morse requires this court to find that he has stated a claim for marital status discrimination. The producers appealed the decision to deny their motion to dismiss. In the recent decision by the United States Courts of Appeals, the court sided with the Wendy Williams talk show producers. The higher court decided to vacate the lower court's decision denying the producers' request to dismiss the case. The higher court said another court previously ruled in a separate case that the, quote, marital status refers to whether a person is participating in a marriage, not the nature of one's relationship with another specific person. This is where law gets really intriguing and very specific. The order reads, this reasoning squarely resolves the question here. Hunter does not allege that he was fired because of his marital status as married or unmarried or divorced, but instead because of his marital status specifically to Williams. The case was remanded down to the lower court where the case will continue, but the decision to deny the producer's motion will be vacated. As In Touch previously reported, Williams is currently under a court-ordered guardianship that she does not believe is needed. In the past couple of months, a Free Wendy movement started by her family, friends, and fans pleading for her to be let out of the guardianship has been growing. So that's a perfect segue. Kelvin, we're going to continue to follow this situation. I rarely update you on what's going on with him because it feels like he's suing everyone. He's battling with Wendy's guardianship over having his spousal support reinstated. Again, I always say this every time we talk about Kevin Hunter. You were her manager and an executive producer. You also were making millions, your own millions outside of this show. Now I'm wondering, like, what did you do with that money? Obviously, you tricked it out. The fact that, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't still fight for money, but he's claiming being poor. He's claiming that he can't pay for health insurance. He can't pay for his home or homes. Okay. All right. So let me give you an update in regards to Wendy Williams' guardianship. So this is some breaking news in regards to what TMZ is reporting because they were in court. And according to TMZ and their exclusives, it said things are getting weird and intense in the Wendy Williams guardianship war. Multiple sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ during a hearing this week, the judge told Wendy that she has no hope of restarting her career. It's pretty outrageous. Wendy showed up in court Thursday and appeared before Judge Lisa Solokhov. Our sources tell TMZ that the judge railed on Wendy's niece, Alex Finney, accusing her of leaking information to the media and threatening her with sanctions for future conduct. The judge wasn't finished. We're told that she attacked Wendy's family, essentially saying they were no good. And then the judge, out of the blue, started talking about Wendy's career. TMZ's told that she said that Wendy had a great career, but it was over. Adding that she will never have a career again. In a quote, it's done.
Move your dirty blood clot, your bad-minded witch, your wicked demonic serpent, you.
Here's the problem here, before we continue. Aren't you supposed to be an advocate for Wendy in this situation? This feels abusive. And I get it. You're probably trying to say that, well, based off of whatever information that you guys have that we don't have, that Wendy may not be able to have the career that she once had. But for you, the judge, to say this to someone that you're trying to protect, that your career is over, like, this is the problem that people have with this conservatorship and guardianship. They feel like it's overreaching. They feel like it's abusive as opposed to being supportive and protective. Now you're attacking not just her family, but you're attacking her. Because if even before Wendy Williams was in this situation, one of the most important things, if you've watched the Wendy Williams show, she says, like, I can't believe that I have a talk show. Like, this was the cherry on top when it comes to her decades long career. So saying this to Wendy, it broke my heart. You said this to her in court in front of everyone. Your career is over. It's done. That's heartbreaking, even if it's necessarily true. But you're supposed to be the advocate for her? You're supposed to be protecting her? Okay. TMZ says, our sources say the remarks hurt Wendy deeply. It was unclear why she said it. Beyond it being hurtful, it's unclear what expertise the judge has in the entertainment industry to make such a grim assessment. For the record, lots of people are keenly interested in Wendy's career. And TMZ has been they also are one of the media outlets that have been really trying to help Wendy. They did the TMZ Presents Saving Wendy Tubi documentary. They said, for the record, lots of people are keenly interested in Wendy's career. Our Tubi documentary, Saving Wendy, was viewed in huge numbers, and various outlets have been reporting on her bid to end the guardianship. Wendy now has a not-so-secret weapon in her arsenal, though. We reported on this a few weeks ago. That attorney, Joe Tacopino, who will take the guardianship up with a jury if the judge doesn't end it. And he's represented all kinds of people like ASAP Rocky, just it's a whole assortment. I can't even think of all the people at this particular moment, but he is a power attorney. So the fact that he was attached to this guardianship and ending this guardianship was a big deal. So it will be interesting to see what exactly will happen next. But one of the things that I noticed a lot of people saying about this particular judge, there was an investigation into this judge not too long ago. So according to the Michigan Chronicle, they said this: the New York judge overseeing Wendy Williams' guardianship was previously under investigation over what reporters described as a, quote, concerning link between her guardianship cases. Several sources are revisiting a January report from WABC, which detailed a six-month probe into Manhattan Judge Lisa Solokoff over allegations she took bribes from guardianship lawyers. The news station learned that Solokoff awarded guardianship to attorneys, law firms, and other parties who donated to her Supreme Court campaign fund between 2019 and 2022. The judge received $5,720 in campaign donations and granted 62 appointments in 2022 alone, according to public records. Here's the other element for those that continue to slam the Where is Wendy Williams documentary. That documentary really, for me and a lot of other people, highlighted how this was becoming more and more of a norm in the United States, where families were not gaining control of these conservatorships or guardianships, but the courts were assigning these law firms and attorneys. Appointed a state administration attorney, Sabrina Morrissey, as the former daytime talk show host's guardian after Wells Fargo froze Williams' financial accounts in 2022. The investigation found that Morrissey didn't make any donations to the judge, but the Manhattan judge awarded several guardianship appointments to the lawyer that same year. The judge also revoked power of attorney from Kevin Hunter Jr., Williams' son, who was accused of spending over $300,000 of his mother's money. He claims he always asked his mother's permission before accessing her funds. Hunter Jr. also alleges Morrissey threatened to have him arrested, and she hasn't disclosed which facility his mother was being treated at the time. The legal battles over Wendy Williams' estate unfolded amid the cancellation of The Wendy Williams Show and her divorce from Kevin Hunter Sr. Williams' team recently revealed that the 59-year-old television star was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia back in 2023. So this Wendy Williams situation, again, this is not, because I know a lot of people like to slam Kevin Hunter Jr. in regards to him spending money. I'm thinking that this is a kid that is a rich kid. And now I'm thinking about $300,000. Should he have spent that money? No. But did they use that as a weapon to gain control of her account and accounts? We don't know. And based off of, I know a lot of people slam Kevin Hunter Jr., but when you look about the history of the people involved, from Sabrina Morrissey, who also has some allegations against her from other cases of guardianship, and now the judge as well, I'm glad that they have some legal muscle in regards to Wendy Williams' guardianship right now. We're going to continue to follow this case, but as always, guys, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. I want to know your thoughts, and if you want consistent updates in regards to Wendy Williams and other pop culture stories, be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.